This is part 4 of our lesson on mixing the particle nga. Tara! Kumusta po kayo? Welcome back! We are continuing our lesson on mixing the Tagalog Enclitic particle nga with other particles that will completely create new meanings to a phrase or sentence. In the last 3 videos, I've talked about how the particle nga combined with other particles create new meanings to a phrase or sentence in Tagalog. This time, I will cover how combining the particle nga with 2 or even 3 other particles can create expanded context to a sentence. If you have missed the previous videos on this topic, do check them out so that this new video will make sense to you. The links are in the description box down below. Let's get started in combining the particle nga with 2 other particles that we have learned so far. We will do this with simple sentences featuring the use of Tagalog verbs. But before we begin, please be sure that you are subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button and the bell notification button so you'll be updated of new videos. Alright? Ngayon, simulan na natin. Now, let's begin. In this video, I will focus on the triple combination of the enclitic particle na, nga, and lang. This combination expresses someone having to do something now because no one else can, or no one else is willing, or no one else is available. Let's listen to these sample sentences. Ako na nga lang. I will just be the one to do it now since no one can. Because the subject comes first, the sentence emphasizes that it is the subject, ako or I, who will do the action. In this case, however, the action is not mentioned but can be implied and is known to both the speaker and the listener. Let's take a look at the following sample sentences where the action or the verb is included. Ako na nga lang ang magluluto. Depending on the situation, it can mean I will just be the one to cook now since no one can. Or, just let me be the one to cook now since no one can. Ikaw na nga lang ang magsasabi. You will just be the one to tell now since no one can. Or, why don't you be the one to tell now since no one can? Kami na nga lang ang mauuna. We will just be the ones to be first now since no one can. Or, just let us be the ones to be first now since no one can. Tayo na nga lang ang mag-uumpisa. We will just be the ones to start now since no one can. Or, just let us be the ones to start now since no one can. Kayo na nga lang ang magdedekorasyon. You all will just be the ones to decorate now since no one can. Or, why don't you all just be the ones to decorate now since no one can? Siya na nga lang ang maglalaba. He or she will just be the one to do the laundry now since no one can. Or, just let him or her be the one to do the laundry now since no one can. Sila na nga lang ang iinom. They will just be the ones to drink now since no one can. Or, just let them be the ones to drink now since no one can. Si Peter na nga lang ang maglalakad. Peter will just be the one to walk now since no one can. Or, just let Peter be the one to walk now since no one can. Sina Peter at Marie na nga lang ang magsasayaw. Peter and Marie are just the ones to dance now since no one can. Or, just let Peter and Marie be the ones to dance now since no one can. Ang guro na nga lang ang magtuturo. The teacher will just be the one to teach now since no one can. Or, just let the teacher be the one to teach now since no one can. Ang mga estudyante na nga lang ang magsasanay. The students will just be the ones to train now since no one can. Or, just let the students be the ones to train now since no one can. Ayos ba? I hope you were able to sense the context of our sample sentences. The same combination of enclitic particles can also be used in the imperative sense or in sentences where one is requesting someone to do an action, but also this time requesting to do an action instead of another action. Let's have a look at these sample sentences. Ibigay mo na nga lang sa akin. You just give it to me instead since no one can have it. In this sentence, the speaker is requesting the listener to give him or her the object of the conversation instead of giving it to someone else. The phrase, sa akin mo na nga lang, is roughly translated as you to me instead, since no one can. Got it? Adding the verb completes the action that is being requested to be done. Here are some more sample sentences. Ipangalan mo na nga lang sa atin. You just name it to us instead since no one else is available. Ilipat mo na nga lang sa amin. You just transfer it to us instead since no one else is available. Sabihin mo na nga lang sa kaniya. You just tell it to him or her instead since no one else should hear it. Itanong mo na nga lang sa guro. You just ask it from the teacher instead since no one else can answer you. Iregalo mo na nga lang sa mga bata. You just gift it to the children instead since no one else deserves better. Isang guni ninyo na nga lang kay Peter. You all just consulted with Peter instead since no one else knows. Ipahiram ninyo na nga lang kina Peter at Marie. You all just lend it to Peter and Marie instead since no one else needed more. Inversely, the same na, nga, lang combination can be used to express an intention to do an action for someone instead of someone else. Have a listen to these sample sentences. Ibibigay ko na nga lang sa iyo. I will just give it to you instead since no one else should have it. In this sentence, the speaker is telling the listener that instead of giving the object to someone else, the speaker will just give the listener the object. Again, in this case, the object, the one that will be given to the speaker, is implied. This happens a lot in Tagalog when the object of the conversation is not mentioned because it is known or obvious to both parties. Let's hear some more sample sentences. Ipapangalan ko na nga lang sa atin. I will just name it to us instead since no one else is available. Ililipat ko na nga lang sa amin. I will just transfer it to us instead since no one else is available. Sasabihin ko na nga lang sa kanya. I will just tell it to him or her instead since no one else should hear it. Itatanong ko na nga lang sa guro. I will just ask it from the teacher instead since no one else know the answer. Ireregalo ko na nga lang sa mga bata. I will just gift it to the children instead since no one else deserves more. Isasangguni ko na nga lang kay Peter. I will just consult it with Peter instead since no one else knows. Ipapahiram ko na nga lang kina Peter at Marie. I will just lend it to Peter and Marie instead since no one else needs it more. If you're enjoying this video so far, please do hit the like button because that will help a lot. Alright? At the beginning of this video, I said that I will focus on combining the particle nga with 2 or even 3 particles. How can we combine nga with 3 other particles, you may ask? Well, by including the enclitic particle ba. You will remember that the enclitic particle ba is also a question marker. It is added to a question to make the question more emphatic. We can add the particle ba in asking questions. In this lesson, we will add ba in the na, nga, lang combination. Let's hear it. Ako na nga lang ba? Am I really the only one and no one else? Or am I really the only one left? In this question, depending on the situation, the speaker is emphatically asking if he or she is the only one to do the action or the only one left to do an action and that there is no one else to do that action. Let's have some more sample sentences. Ako na nga lang ba ang magluluto? Am I really the only one who will cook and no one else? Ikaw na nga lang ba ang magsasabi? Are you really the only one who will tell and no one else? Kami na nga lang ba ang mauuna? Are we really the only ones who will be first and no one else? Tayo na nga lang ba ang mag-uumpisa? Are we really the only ones who will start and no one else? Kayo na nga lang ba ang magdedekorasyon? Are you all really the only ones who will decorate and no one else? Siya na nga lang ba ang maglalaba? Is he or she really the only one who will do the laundry and no one else? Sila na nga lang ba ang iinom? Are they really the only ones who will drink and no one else? Si Peter na nga lang ba ang maglalakad? Is Peter really the only one who will walk and no one else? Sina Peter at Marie na nga lang ba ang magsasayaw? Are Peter and Marie really the only ones who will dance and no one else? Ang guro na nga lang ba ang magtuturo? Is the teacher really the only one who will teach and no one else? Ang mga estudyante na nga lang ba ang magsasanay? Are the students really the ones who will train and no one else? As you have seen, combining enclitic particles create new meanings to a sentence. A lot depends on context and on the situation of the conversation, which can be challenging if you are not familiar with how enclitic particles work in Tagalog. The key really is to practice with your Filipino friends, family members, or partners. They will be more than happy to help you. In the next video, which is part 5 of this series, I will conclude this topic on combining the particle nga with other particles. In that video, you will discover more nuances and see the richness of the Tagalog language. Be sure to catch that. I will be seeing you then. Maraming salamat po at hanggang sa susunod.